Hello friends, in the previous video we have talked about the arithmetic operators, and in this video we will covering the relational operators, that what they are. And this is tutorial number 13 in the series of basics of C programming. So let's start our video on the relational operators, and we'll see that what actually they are and how we can use them by writing some code in the Visual Studio IDE. So let's start our video. Looking on to the overview part of the lecture, that what we will be talking in this video. The first one is we will be seeing that what are the relational operators here, and then we'll also talk about the how to use the relational operators and what are the examples of the relational operators, and we also try to link the relational operators with some practical scenarios or practical context. And moving forward, we'll also need some basic knowledge of Ifelse statement. We'll talk this Ifelse statement in basic manner only. The advanced part will be coming in the next upcoming tutorials. In the mid part of the video, we'll see the applications of the relational operators, that what are the applications involved in the relational operators and how we can use them in the practical and non-practical context. And of course, at the end of the video, we'll also write some code in the Visual Studio IDE for better understanding, and we'll see also examples of the practical situations, that how we can use the relational operators in our day-to-day life and in the C programming, and we'll see that how to use them in the C programming. So let's start our discussion on the relational operators. Stay tuned with me. Moving forward in this video, we'll talk about the relational operators, that what they are. So relational operators are nothing but they are basically used to check whether the relation is correct or not. So suppose you have a scenario that if you want to compare two numbers, or to check the relation between the two numbers, that whether they are equals to, or they are greater than, or they are not equals to with each other. Suppose that you have a two number A and B, and if A is equals to B, if you want to see that if A is equals to B, then only you will be using a relational operator. And now talking about the examples of relational operators, you can see here the relational operators are as follows. First one is the equals to operator. So if you want to compare the two numbers, or if you want to check the two numbers, that whether they are equal or not. So if you use the equals to operator here, that means you need to write A equals to B. Okay, so if A will be equal to B, then this operator will return the value true to your code, and if A is not equals to B, then it will return false value. So this is how you use the equal to operator for checking that whether both the numbers are equal or not. Similarly, the opposite of this equal to operator is not equals to operator here. You can see that this not equals to operator will be used to check whether the both numbers A and B are different or not. If they will be different, then this operator will return true value. But if A is not equals to B, and if you are using this operator, it will return false value, because here the operator is equal to operator. But if you use not equals to operator, then definitely it will return true value if A and B are not equal. And similarly, you can think of about the greater or equal to, less or equal to, less than, greater than operators here. So these all are relational operators that we will be using in the C programming in dealing with the practical context or practical scenarios, which we'll be talking in the later part of the video. Now moving forward in this video, what we'll discuss now is the basics of if-else statement. We'll just deal if-else statement. We'll talk about the syntax involved in the if-else statement, because it will be useful in the Visual Studio IDE to understand the code that I will be explaining you in the Visual Studio IDE. So now before that we'll try to understand a scenario, that in which kind of scenario we can use if else statement. So suppose you have a condition here, suppose that you have a condition here, okay, and here statement. So you want that if this condition is true, then this statement is executed. So suppose your condition is that if today's date is 30th, then then you will ask for pocket money from the mother, okay. So that means here the condition is that if today's date is 30 or not, and your statement is that I will ask for pocket money from my mother. So if you want to check from code that whether you will be getting pocket money today or not, so you need to write the code for that, and in writing the code for this practical situation or scenario, you need a Ifelse statement. So I hope you understand the scenario, and now looking forward to the syntax for Ifelse statement. The syntax is quite simple. You can think it of as simple only. You just need to do a lot of practice on coding, then only you will have a better understanding of the coding of the C programming. Coming on to the topic, we have syntax here. So you just need to write if, ignore this here, ignore this, just you need to start with the writing if, then in the parenthesis you need to write the condition that you have assumed, as in my case or in my example the condition is that if today's date is 30 or not. So that is the condition for me. So you need to write the condition here, then in between the curly braces you need to write the statement that if this condition is true, then what is the task that you will be performing. So in my example the task is that I will be asking for pocket money from my mother. And you also need to have a statement or a task in the scenario that if condition is not correct. So that part will come in the else part. So suppose that if this condition is not true, so suppose that if today's date is not 30, then what you will do. So for that you need to mention that particular task in the else part. So suppose that the condition is not correct, that means today's date is 29th. So I will say that I will not ask for pocket money from my mother today, but I will ask it for tomorrow, okay. So this is the statement when this condition is not true. So this is how the syntax work. You don't need to write any condition here in the parenthesis and the else block. You just need to put the condition in the if block, okay. So you also need to know that both of the statements cannot be executed at a time. Among these two, only one of the statements will be executed, and that will depend on the condition part. So if your condition is true, then if part will be this statement corresponding to if part will be executed, and if your condition is not correct, then the statement corresponding to else part will be will be executed. So this is how if else work. Now moving on to the main topic, we'll see the applications of the relational operators, that what are the scenarios or contexts where we can use the operator. So the first application is to compare the two numbers, as we have discussed earlier in this video also, that suppose you have two numbers A and B, and you want to compare them, then you definitely need the relational operators, and they're also used in various practical situations. I have discussed one practical situation in the previous slide. And now suppose another scenario if you want to consider. So consider here a scenario here. Suppose that A, B are the two positive values, where B corresponds to the money that I have and A corresponds to the money that my friend have, okay. So what my condition says is that if A is less than B, that means if my friend has less money than me, then what the statement part says, then only I will give money to my friend. So if my friend has less money than me, then I will give some money to my friend, okay. Or else if this condition is not satisfied, then he will give then my friend will give money to me. So in this practical scenario, you can think it of using the relational operators here, as we have compared the two money amount or amount here, and we also need if else part here, if and else part you can see here. So this is only a pseudo code. We'll write the code for this in the Visual Studio IDE for your better understanding. And so this is how in these kind of scenarios you need relational operators. Okay, now let's move to the IDE for writing some code and have better understanding on the relational operator here, as this is tutorial number 13. So I will be saving my file tutorial 13.c. okay, now we'll write the code. So starting from include stdio.h, then defining the main function here. Oops. Yeah, moving forward, so we'll declare, let's say, two variables a and b that will denote my denote the amount of money. So suppose this a denotes the amount that my friend have, okay, and b represents a amount that I have, okay, I have. Now we'll scan the values. Okay, so till now I have scanned all the values. Now using the Ifelse statement, so okay, what I am going to say that if my friend has less money, that means if a is less than b, that means what I am saying here is that if if my friend has less money than me, then I will give some money, some amount of money to my friend. Okay, okay, so then I will put new line character, and if this condition does not holds true, then what I will do, I will put a else part. So I will write my statement here that if I have less money than my friend, then I will ask for money from my friend. Okay, so that's how we use this, and at last we'll say everything went fine here, and we'll put return 0. Put return 0 here. Okay, so our code has completed here. So you can see here, this is the condition. Okay, so you can put the comment as this is condition, and here this is statement. Again here this is also statement. Okay, so let's try compile this code. First save this code, and now coming on to the terminal, just remove this pop-up here. We'll compile this code with a gcc tutorial 13.c. so the code has compiled successfully. Now run it by using a.exe. Just wait for the outcome. So it is asking for enter the money that your friend have, that means or enter the money that your friend have, or the value of a. So let's say I have entered 1500, then asking for value of b, I entered 2000. Okay, so it will check. Okay, it will check. So the value of b is greater than value of a. As you can see, the a is 1500 and the b is 2000. So this condition holds true. Then the if block will be this statement corresponding to if block, which is I will give some amount of money to my friend, will be printed on the as an output on your terminal. So you can see, and this is the output. I will give some amount of money to my friend. So now if you want to run it again to see the else part executing, so just do the opposite. Just put 2000 value of a and 1500 value of b. So you can see here the else part statement has executed. I will ask for money from my friend, because this statement does not hold true. So this is how the relational operators here. Now if you again want to check for the one more condition here, that suppose you and your friend has same amount of money, then in that case what should be the output. So just think here, what should be the output. So you can see here that the here what condition we need to check, that just check that whether the value b is greater than or not. If b will be or equals to a, then this part will be executed. So here in this case I have given input where a and b both are equal, so this condition again will not hold true because a is not equals to b, so the else part will be executed. So let's see for that. So again you can see the else part has been executed here because a is equals to b, and this is not the condition here, and this condition holds not true. Okay, that's why it came to else part and it has executed this statement. Now if you want to print the above statement instead of I will ask for money from my friend, then what you need to do is that you just include the equals to here, then you will be able to print the above statement, because as now the condition has changed that if a is less or equals to b, then print this statement, otherwise print this statement. So now just save this code and now try to compile here. So it has compiled successfully. Now run the code. Yeah, so it is asking for value of a. I will again enter 1500 and I will again enter the value b also as 1500, because we are checking for the condition for a equals to b. Okay, so you can see now the above statement has been printed that I will give some amount of money to my friend. Okay, so that's how you can use the relational operators in this context or in various practical situations. So I hope you understood this. So that's it for video. Please like the video, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. That's it. Thank you and Jai Hind.